Part 20. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 195. PS presented today's update, by the way, to the starting point 515 fan festival. To pull the ticket, each person has 8 tickets. Vote also sent the starting currency, begging everyone to support appreciation. PS, this chapter is for the Rudder Master. Dragon King added, "Thank you for your support." Great, Freya gently patted her hands, and the maid lifted the easel and painting tools. Pigments are rare and unique pigments in the deep sea countries. Even if they are soaked in sea water, they will not change color. I heard that Ziwei had to paint. Natalia quickly rushed over, but she heard about the extraordinary skills of her lover from her sister. Meryl mentioned the sour painting that Ziwei once painted for Charlotte. It can come out of the bones. In fact, she also wants a collection of Ziwei's paintings, but the relationship between the two has not yet reached that point. It was too tight and depressed during the time at the bottom of the sea, so that it has not been able to speak. Yingying's blue light shines, the beautiful and magnificent radiance of the mother's shell is half open, a beautiful girl is lying in it. Her long blue hair is like a blue flame burning in the sea. Her skin is crystal and round to the extreme, as if the most perfect white jade is carved into a piece of art. Her eyes are half opened and half closed, and 2 red eyes are slightly exposed under the white eyelids and black eyelashes. The white gauze shrouded her, bringing a sly beauty that transcends the vulgarity. The white slender legs are tight and close together, and the golden scales are being formed on a pair of surfaces. She knows nothing and is in the deepest dreams. She is quiet, she is beautiful, she is pure, so that no one can give birth to a heart. Sleeping Beauty, giving Freya. After leaving the money, Ziwei finally completed the painting. "It's so beautiful, it's so beautiful," this is Natalia's praise. Because of the secrets of Freya, there are only 5 people from the mainland of this continent. Katrina and Christine are obviously very excited about this painting. Ziwei's paintings take a mood and keenly grasp the most beautiful moments and carry out sublimation. No woman cannot be tempted by such a painting. "Thank you. Thank you. I like it very much." Freya's red eyes became crystal clear. This painting is not only the most beautiful moment in her life, but also represents her human identity. This will be the most precious commemoration of her eternal life. "You like it? Freya, we are leaving." Ziwei extended his arms and gave Freya a warm and powerful hug. The Natalia 3 came forward. "Embrace goodbye with Freya." The transmission array that leaves the deep sea plane is below the shell of the shining ant, and through the fixed magic array set up by Francis, it can pass between the 2 planes. "Ziwei, the deep sea horn is handed over to you. When you need help, it will blow it. I will cross the plane." Octopus Paul threw the deep sea horn to Ziwei, which was what it once made. "Committed to." Farina and the young girl Vera also came here to bid farewell. They were the only ones who Ziwei had met at the bottom of the sea. The shell of the Guanzhou mother was removed, and the complete plane of the plane was below. The Ziwei 4 stood at the top and gently dropped the blood of Freya in the central stone pillar groove. The white light flashed and the figure of the 4 disappeared. Another time is a less comfortable plane crossing time. When Ziwei opened his eyes again, he saw a silver moon in the sky and the sky. "It's a wonderful night with a cool evening breeze around. I finally waited for you." Guguri, on the periphery of the central stone pillar, the silver eagle under the cloak asked quietly. 3 days ago, he fled alone from the deep sea plane and left the family heir Guguri. He obviously didn't dare to return so directly, but chose to wait here for the final result. "Dead, die in my hands. Master Silver Eagle, from today, I am the heir to the Estanba family. I am already a master warrior. I also have the blood of the dead bird in my body. I believe my father has a way to help. I activate the blood." Catherine stood up for the first time. "Catalina, you are really..." Silver Eagle didn't know what to say. The higher the rank of the noble blood, the harder it is to give birth to a child, which is why most of the high-ranking nobles always have so many lovers, and they have to put a lot of young and beautiful maids to bed, and they can get the default of the lady. This is why the higher the ranks of the aristocrats, the more common the phenomenon of illegitimate daughters. The Marquis of Estonba has been industriously planted for 30 years, and so far only Gagai and Catalina have 2 children. Guguri is dead, and he can only choose Catalina as heir. Katrina is a young master of the ranks. Moreover, it has become the red-haired queen on the side of the Gold Sea, and it is naturally far more than Guguri. 2. Please come with me to the Estonba family for a while. Silver Eagle has nothing to do with Catalina, but is not polite to Ziwei and Natalia. Yes. I really want to know what will happen to the horn. Mr. Silver Eagle, your tail ring is very beautiful, how can you disappear? 11 Wei took out the deep sea horn, a touch of sarcasm. It was not without any cost for the Silver Eagle to launch a transmission spell to force it out of the octopus Paul's tent. His tail ring is a perfect and wonderful magical object that can increase his spiritual magic intensity and store a spell that can escape from the plane. But once you use this spell, the magical creature will be completely destroyed. It was discovered that the deep sea horn in the hands of Ziwei was not an illusion and a fake, and the face of the Silver Eagle was black. If the Japanese elf master can summon the octopus Paul, this time there is no life-saving means to escape from the legendary powerhouse. Enough, go back. Master Ziwei and Miss Natalia are my friends, Katrina sighed. As one of the 12 magical armored ships of the Holy Norman Empire, the Saint Estonba is naturally not able to stay away from the station, so there are only 3 ships waiting in the nearby waters. The Estonba family, the red-haired queen pirates and the hungry wolf at sea. This time the bottom of the sea adventure Catalina can be said that the harvest is second only to Flea, not only the knot and the old wish, but also one fell swoop to become the heir to the Estonba family. The Sea Wolf gang is the biggest blow, the Sea Wolf King Cook and the Necromancer Thomas all in the sea. The only green wolf that is also known as the Strong is the Zero Manipulation. Ziwei put his own ship down, and the ship has changed back from the shape of the submersible to its normal form. It was 3 people, but now it is 3 people, but Freya has become the Queen of Naga, but there is another high school student of the Thousand Family Tower, the Philippe family's niece, high-ranking magician Christine. In just 1 month, Ziwei has been promoted from the 3rd ring master to a level close to the 5-ring high-level master, and the manipulation of wind and water far exceeds the time. A leafy boat crosses the blue sea, and the silver moon shines on me. Immediately 515, I hope to continue to impact the 515 red envelope list, until May 15th, the red envelope rain can give back to readers plus promotional works. One Piece is also love, definitely better. To be continued. Arcane Age author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 196. PS presented today's update, by the way, to the starting point 515 fan festival. To pull the ticket, each person has 8 tickets. Vote also sent the starting currency, begging everyone to support appreciation. Although the boat is flying fast, the cabin is very stable. Seville and Natalia and Christine sit in soft cushions and seats, posing in a comfortable position. In the middle of the 3-person seat is a small wooden table with a pot of tea, a pot of coffee, and a few cups. This time, deep sea adventure, Natalia successfully broke through the 6th Order Blood Knight. She is less than 18 years old, even her own adult rights have not been. This score is already very rare, and his future is limitless. The harvest of Ziwei is even more horrible. The strength is promoted to the 1st level, and it is not so far away from the promotion of the 5-ring high-level magician. With the most perfect sea spirit of the Naga Kingdom's Millennium Collection, Ziwei has the confidence to nurture the last true spirit of water in his Heart Lake, completely completing the perfection of the 4 series Heart Lake. As Ziwei continues to grow, as his magic pet, Zero has been growing, and the size of the space has expanded to about 50 cubic meters. The soul-level life and death struggle eventually wiped out Thomas and gained a complete legacy of the necromancer. Received a large number of rare blood materials, such as the blood of the North Sea town guard Kurol, the blood of the East Sea town Shaufu General Stark, the Queen of Naga Safina and the Princess of Naga, the ancient Gregory blood of the blood. These precious bloods far beyond imagination are all collected by Zero, placed in different categories, and began to analyze and study the blood. Even the shells of the Shining Mother who had transformed the newborn Naga Queen Freya and the rare materials inside were brought back together. However, this is not the most valuable gain is the silver-haired beauty Kristen sitting in front of Ziwei in a noble and elegant appearance. Christine is a beautiful woman, almost perfect, no matter the appearance or the sound, with a magical charm, just like the nine-tailed fox. But in fact, whether it is now Charlotte or Natalia is similar to her appearance, Ziwei is not the most important thing about her appearance, but the precious knowledge in her brain. She is a high school graduate who graduated from the Thousand Law Tower. Unlike Gatlin, the loser who was forced to leave the Thousand French Tower just after he reached the third ring, Christine became the head of the Master of St. Estanba. Absolutely have real talent. If you can let Christine say everything he knows, Ziwei firmly believes that his magical strength will have a huge leap forward. However, Kristen's prominent status clearly made him unable to adopt some dangerous means. In fact, after leaving the deep sea plane, the conditions that Ziwei could control Christine almost did not exist. But the silver-haired beauty does not seem to be eager to escape from Ziwei. It is a kind of leisurely and indifferent look. It seems that it is really a guest invited by Ziwei. Miss Christine, during the time at the bottom of the sea, it can be said that there are many masters of the ranks, the Sea Wolf King Cook, the Tide Warrior Stark Ho, the North Sea Guardian Kurol, but they all die. The two magic masters that appeared, Ms. Farina and Mr. Silver Eagle, all came to the end. What do you think is the biggest difference between a master of magic and a master of other professions? Ziwei gently drank a hot tea and threw the first topic. Natalia was a little drowsy, but after listening to it, she quickly sat up and was very interested in this topic. Christine's red lips pressed a straw and took a sip of coffee, which slowly came down. Is the Savi master to sit down with me? Then I will say something immature. In this world, even the professional, will be divided into high and low nobles. There is no doubt that the warrior is the worst street career. It almost does not need a threshold. The day-after-day efforts and opportunities are enough to break through the limitations of talent, so almost 70% of the masters of the entire continent of the Orient continent are battalions. On the contrary, the promotion of the magician is so difficult. 10 people have a reading literacy, 10 reading literacy can have a magic apprentice, 10 magic apprentices can produce a formal magician. According to the sacred calendar 1785 Europe. According to the statistics of the National Association of Magicians in Lent, there are 300,000 formal magicians registered in the main material plane. It is a huge number, isn't it? But what about the 5-ring high-level magician? People. Compared with this, as long as the soldiers can survive in killing once and for all, every 5 warriors who have fought in battle will have a champion who can raise the ranks. The Silver Eagle is focused on spiritual magic. Due to the attack of the Church of the Glorious Lord, the inheritance of spiritual magic is almost cut off. Plus spiritual magic is not a spell for frontal combat, so his strength is far less than most Master of Magic, and Ms. Farina, Imho, the spells of the Naga are too outdated. This magic master is also a misnomer. How many magic masters are there on the bright side of the whole continent? 200 to 300, in total. There are absolutely no more than 500 people. Of course, this number only counts humans, and other races such as elves are unknown. The mainland is so vast there are countless national organizations, and the infinite variety of planes provides inexhaustible magic materials and promotion resources, but now there are only a few hundred magic masters. So, Christine, You are also ranked in the top 1000 in the magicians of the whole continent of Orient. Natalia suddenly inserted a mouth. Christine suddenly haha laughed, the original elegant temperament disappeared. Laughter, laugh. Inexplicable, Natalia asked inexplicably. Magicians are a group of scholars who study the mysteries of magic all day long. Their strength cannot be sorted at all. It is impossible to play a game like the Cavaliers. The destructive power of the magician far exceeds that of the same rank. There is not enough interest, the masters will not be dispatched, Christine explained. As for me, I have just been promoted to the 6th ring magician. Compared with the senior high-level magicians who are stuck outside the master threshold, there are still many shortcomings in accumulation. There are only two kinds of occupations that can stand shoulder to the magician. One is the priest of the Church of the Glorious Lord. They are relying on a true behind them. The magic effect is very powerful. The other is a high level like Natalia. The knights and warlocks of the blood heritage. As for other professions, it is almost impossible to form a level of crushing in 1 or 2 steps, almost impossible to be the opponent of the magician. Immediately 515, I hope to continue to impact the 515 red envelope list, until May 15th, the red envelope rain can give back to readers plus promotional works. One Piece is also love, definitely better. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 197. PS presented today's update, by the way, to the starting point 515 fan festival. To pull the ticket, each person has 8 tickets. Vote also sent the starting currency, begging everyone to support appreciation. As for the biggest difference between a magician and other professions, I think that the magician is the most scholarly profession in all professions. Other professions only need to pursue more powerful power and higher ranks. But the magicians are different. Everyone a powerful magician must be a scholar. Finally, Christine answered the questions raised by Ziwei. What is the Tower of the Thousand Law? Ziwei continued to ask. The first legendary magician, Tulafut, established it. The millennium has passed. It is a well-deserved sacred place of magicians. Whether it is the Holy Norman Empire, the Kingdom of France, the Kingdom of Iton, the Rhine Union or the Kingdom of Risha, almost all the nobles of the mainland powers will desperately send their magically qualified descendants into this magical place. More than half of the magic masters of the entire continent of Orient, and more than 70% of the legendary magicians have been in the Thousand. The Tower of Law has been studied. Christine brought a reverence and pride when she mentioned the Tower of the Thousand Laws, because she was also a magician who came out of the Thousand Law Tower. What kind of teaching model is the Thousand Law Tower? Are there any journals, magazines, and widely published magic books? Do you introduce some magical principles, magic materials, or exploration of multidimensional planes? Magic principle? Multidimensional intelligence. Ziwei, you are simply whimsical. In the magician world, knowledge is power. If every magic is a powerful force, then the magic principle is the core mystery. Almost all the magicians want to be promoted, they must slowly comprehend themselves. Only those who are close relatives will share these secrets. As for the intelligence of the multifaceted plane, Ziwei, do you know how valuable the deep sea plane we have just left? If you take out the space key of this plane for auction, you can at least sell tens of millions of gold coins. Once you find out the multifaceted surface with development value, then the first priority is to immediately develop and occupy. Christine whispered and seemed to be amused by the idea of 11 Way. Christine's idea, Civi, understands that in this world, knowledge is power at all. Just like the martial arts cheats. Just like the cultivation of treasures, how can such precious things be passed lightly? Even Ziwei does not widely teach the principles of his own promotion in the promotion, he will only teach himself to recognize a well-rounded apprentice who has the potential to become an arcanist. In the current tower, you can see that the arcane master seeds that can meet the standards of Zaiwei are not in the first place. But this does not mean that this Zaiwei only needs to train the Yang and Charlotte people, just like a society can not only have scientists and managers. There must also be a large number of workers and citizens. Most of the magic apprentices in the tower are limited by the qualifications and their own efforts. Becoming a formal magician is the limit. As the level of the magician increases, the difficulty of magic is also superimposed on the index. This is not like the cultivation of the warrior, the tempering of the tempering or the temporary insight can break through. Just like throwing an ordinary person into a profound scientific theory, it is really a fog, every word understands, and you don't understand anything when you combine them. What Sci-Wei can now access is only 4 or 5 ring spells, but this level of spells. The construction of the spell model has become very complicated, and you can imagine what kind of spell model the 7 rings and even the legendary spells need to build. I am afraid that a legendary spell will be cast, and the memory requirements alone will be similar to the complete set of the arduous Tao Zhang. This is also why most magicians can only master a small amount of magic. At the latest stage of the high-level magician, we must choose a specific magic to practice as a future road. Such as elemental magic, protective magic, changing magic, summoning magic, etc. But these ordinary magic apprentices or low-level magicians will be the cornerstone of the entire magic society in the future. Zaiwei intends to continue to improve its own strength, while doing its best to cultivate more magic apprentices and lower-level magicians, so that various industrial products related to magic change their lives, spread their own doctrine and influence. Force, finally ushered in a real arcane age. The continent of Orient is respected by strength. The inheritance of the noble bloodline aristocracy makes the world's bloodline determine the nobleness of man, and has become the truth of everyone's cognition. Such a clearly defined society clearly lacks channels for up and down flow, and it can be said that it is almost a pool of stagnant water. Although the warrior profession provides a rising space for some brave and strong people, it still can't really become a social class. Because the best of them, once they became strong, they immediately entered the aristocratic class. Although the magician has the same powerful extraordinary power and noble status, magic is not only used for combat, but also more powerful in creation. In this world, science has almost become a part of magic, and magic is undoubtedly the first productivity. As time comes to the Holy Calendar in 1786, the total population of the continent of Orient has also multiplied from 20 million in the sacred calendar year to 300 million. The nobility and the church still rule the body and beliefs of the people, but business activities have become more and more prosperous. The emergence of paper making and printing has made books cheaper and cheaper. In the commercial capitals of Venice and Toulon, there are more and more young people who are literate. The bourgeoisie has begun to rise slowly. It can be said that a magical glory is about to come, and what Zaiwei has to do is to lead this wave and eventually push the whole world into the Arcane Age. Zaiwei's road to the future is becoming clearer. The first step is to publish a book. A set of magical popular reading materials, really easy to understand, magic books for the majority of ordinary people. The price of this set of books is not very expensive, as long as literacy can be understood. Through this set of books, ordinary people can also access magic, qualified to learn to become a magic apprentice through self-study. When Zaiwei returned, he discovered that Christine had already stopped speaking and there was silence in the cabin. "What did you think about?" Natalia asked curiously. "I was thinking, if I had a book called A Month to Teach You to Become a Magic Apprentice, do you think it will become a bestseller?" "How is it possible?" Natalia's first reaction was not to believe. Is the magic apprentice so easy to cultivate? "Kristen, how long have you been using meditation to display the first zero-loop spell?" Sci-Wei turned his head and asked the silver-haired beauty. 7 days, Christine couldn't help but pour a cold water on Sci-Wei. Even in the Tower of the Thousand Laws, with the guidance of a mentor, depending on the qualifications of the magic apprentice. This time is usually 1 month to 3 months. You will be treated as a liar when you read this book. So it seems that I have to stabilize first. Then how is the magician made? Ziwei asked another question. Is this name sounds good? But why didn't I figure out what you were thinking? Christine was also confused by 11 ways jumping thinking. Immediately 515, I hope to continue to impact the 515 red envelope list, until May 15th, the red envelope rain can give back to readers plus promotional works. One Piece is also love, definitely better. To be continued. Arcane Age author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 198. PS presented today's update, by the way, to the starting point 515 fan festival. To pull the ticket, each person has 8 tickets. Vote also sent the starting currency, begging everyone to support appreciation. When I write it, you will know it. It's late at night, go to bed early. Ziwei put the coffee table up and put a soft and comfortable bed in the whole cabin. The 3 people found their position and fell asleep. Among them, Zero adheres to the post and pushes the ship all the way to the island of Caprea. By the noon the next day, the boat finally arrived at the pier of Caprea Island. Yang and Charlotte, who had already found the situation from the lookout, had already arrived early. I haven't seen it for a month, and everyone has a warm smile on her face. How did Freya not come back? Charlotte asked nervously. She is now a queen, Ziwei replied with a smile. Go back and have a good chat with you. This is, Charlotte just breathed a sigh of relief, but saw the silver-haired beauty who walked out of the cabin, and his heart was tight. Christine, a high-ranking mage from the 1000 French Tower, my guest, Ziwei said briefly. Christine screamed slightly, his eyes staying on Charlotte for a long time. 11 Wei's gaze fell on Yang's body and suddenly showed a happy smile. Yang, have you been promoted to the second ring magician? Yang nodded. Yes, just 9 days ago. I have the first 2 loop spell. Very good. Your promotion is faster than I expected. Ziwei was very satisfied. All the way to the bottom of the tower, Christine stopped and carefully looked at the tower in front of him. This is your mage tower, Kristen asked with a smile. Accurately speaking, I am only half of its owner, Ziwei corrected. This is the real reason why he has not named this tower. He has not yet taken complete control of the Master Tower, and the Master Tower has not yet completed its final form. Within the tower, Ziwei and his party did not use the transmission array between the floors, but climbed up 1 level at a time. Apprentices along the way met Ziwei and they all showed a pleasant surprise. They respectfully let the road open. Ziwei tutor. On the 3rd floor of the tower, Faowei is giving lectures to a group of young magic apprentices. His words are humorous, and more than a dozen apprentices from below come out with laughter. Faowei was full of magic 20 days ago. I helped him with the magician promotion ceremony. After drinking 3 bottles of your magical conversion agent, he was promoted successfully. I have arranged for him. There are also Miss Nightingale. Also promoted to become a formal magician. Very good. Ziwei did not stay too much. Instead, it returned to the 6th floor of the tower. The entire 6th floor has been kept clean and tidy by the werewolf girl Cynthia. There are more flowers and small works in the room, which looks more home-like. Obviously these are the layouts of Charlotte. Yang simply and Ziwei explained the situation during this period and then retired with interest. Ziwei's schedule book gave Yang 2 hours of separate teaching time tomorrow. There were only 4 people left in the room of Nyoda, 11 Wei. Natalia, Charlotte, and Christine. Natalia and Ziwei were very close, and they had eye contact from time to time. This intimate feeling was captured by sensitive Charlotte for the first time. She felt that the skin on her body seemed to have thousands of ants crawling over, and she was uncomfortable. She began to tremble, her hands and feet were a little cold, and a kind of betrayal, abandoned painful moments shrouded her. Charlotte's head was low, and a pair of big eyes looked at her toes without gods. She didn't dare to question Ziwei. The pain in my heart began to spread. Ziwei's brows are wrinkled, and Charlotte is too sensitive. Once this problem is not handled well, I am afraid there will be big trouble. His feelings for Charlotte have always been more pity than love. Once he and Natalia confirmed the relationship between Charlotte and Charlotte is not so easy to survive. At this moment, Natalia stood up and pulled Charlotte's hand. Ziwei, I haven't seen Miss Charlotte for a long time. Just go ahead and have a chat. See you later. Charlotte did not resist, so she was dragged into the closed cabin by the resolute Natalia. 11 Wei breathed a sigh of relief, and this thing will be handled by Natalia, and there may be better results. Miss Christine. How is your feeling here? Ziwei was filled with a glass of fruit wine for Christine. This fruit is an optimized variety that has been carefully cultivated and can accelerate the growth of magic. To tell the truth, it's a very interesting tower. I rarely see apprentices with bright smiles and expectations and desires for the future. Most of the master's towers are filled with intrigue and unscrupulous competition. It looks like so depressed. Christine took the glass from the hands of Ziwei and took a drink, showing a very comfortable expression. This is why you chose to leave the Tower of the Thousand Law at a young age. The problem of Ziwei is somewhat sharp. Although not entirely correct, but it is not bad. In other words, I have a capricious capital. The repressed atmosphere of the Thousand Law Tower makes me very bad, and the exploration of the Magic Master needs enough accumulation. So I chose to go to the Holy Norman Imperial Division. This is my father's arrangement. Christine answered this question positively. So what plans do you or your father have for your future? Future? To be honest, I have never considered such a serious topic. As a mage I am not so fond of researching magic, although I have a good talent. As a noble young woman, I can't wait to find a husband, although most of my age-old women are already mothers. Christine is not quite suitable for the straightforward communication of Ziwei. The so-called talk about life, talk about ideals, has always been a big killer against the young people. Seeing that Christine does not eat this trick, Ziwei had to use a more noble way of thinking to solve this problem. You see, although Freya has stabilized the throne of Queen Naga, and Octopus Paul escorts, but if you face the greedy and powerful plain pioneers of the Orient continent, I am afraid it is still difficult to stick to it. Ziwei has clarified the topic. Yes. Although a legend and several masters are already powerful, but compared to the wealth of a whole medium-sized plane, it is still not enough. If you are interested in a powerful force, Very may not be willing to give up, Christine replied with a smile. Immediately 515, I hope to continue to impact the 515 red envelope list, until May 15th. The red envelope rain can give back to readers plus promotional works. One Piece is also love, definitely better. To be continued. Arcane Age author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 199. PS presented today's update, by the way, to the starting point 515 fan festival. To pull the ticket, each person has 8 tickets. Vote also sent the starting currency, begging everyone to support appreciation. I am not too worried about the Estanbo family, and I have the identity of Katrina. I think I can handle this trouble, but... Ziwei's eyes stared at the silver-haired beauty in front of him. I am very embarrassed by my identity. Your father is the Grand Duke of Spania. It is a legendary blood knight. The power that can be used definitely exceeds the limit that the deep sea plane can resist. And you are a High the magician. I must have got the space mark in these days in the deep sea plane. The space mark is the prototype of the space key, but as long as there is a space mark, it is not difficult to recreate a space key with the power and strength of Philip. In fact, I don't have such a big ambition. Master Ziwei, for me, it's more interesting to see more colorful scenery and different characters. Christine changed her more comfortable position and leaned on the back of the recliner. The scenery here is very good, I think I will stay for a while. Welcome Miss Christine to visit the island of Caprea. It's a great honor. 11 Way's face finally eased. He gently read a short spell, and the magical ban on Christine was revoked. Christine's identity was too noble, so she couldn't help but her words also expressed a certain kindness, so Ziwei chose to treat each other with courtesy. As for Christine's words, it's true or false. Ziwei still chose to believe. Because as the daughter of Philippe, the de facto master of Spania, Christine can be said to be the super white beauty in the entire continent of the Orient. Such a lucky one has almost everything in his life, and what he wants can be satisfied almost instantly, so it is not as strong as the people who climbed from the bottom. Christine is like a noble and puppet cat, looks polite, but in fact very arrogant, only by using various means to arouse her curiosity, can finally let her voluntarily stay here. Yes. Ziwei has decided to recruit Christine as the new tutor of the tower. Christine was born in the Tower of the Thousand Laws. She is very knowledgeable. Compared with Ziwei, who is a bite, she is the most lacking in Ziwei. And Christine is another person who doesn't have much fighting spirit. At this point, it is difficult for her to compete with Ziwei for the dominance of the college. Finally, Christine's illustrious identity can effectively provide a strong backing for the High Terra, but also by the way to resolve the last hidden danger of the deep sea plane. A good thing to do in one fell swoop, it depends on whether the means of Ziwei can really make this silver-haired beauty tempted. Sister, marry her. I have 365 style sisters, and I am willing to help the generals, the idol Zero is desperately screaming in the mind of Ziwei. Hey, your sister. Now it's enough trouble. I don't know what Natalia would say to Charlotte. Ziwei put down his troubles, but suddenly found the opposite of Christine's mysterious smile, as if he heard it. What fun things. Just released your magic, you go to eavesdrop? The heart of the woman's gossip is really strong. 11 Wei helpless, and quickly opened the hearing. What do you want to tell me, Charlotte? Inside the house, said with a tough voice. Farmer Charlotte hit the right three. I and Ziwei have established a relationship with each other. And the relationship of love is the ultimate goal of marriage, landlord Natalia decisively threw out 4. How is it possible? You only know a few days. I and I are really in love. We used to kiss. Farmer Charlotte played against K. A kiss is true? To be honest, I and Ziwei each have an average kissing time of more than half a magic time. The landlord Natalia threw out 4. Charlotte is almost desperate, she has always had a lucky expectation. But now when I look back, I find that 11 Wei has never responded positively to his feelings. It is just a kind of embarrassment. He painted me a picture. Finally, Charlotte opened the Jedi counterattack. Farmer Charlotte played 4-9. This is nothing. If I propose it, he will definitely paint it for me. Ziwei just painted a painting for Freya at the bottom of the sea. Would he like the 12-year-old girl? The landlord Natalia played the king of the size. Charlotte was defeated, she sat on the bed, and the strength of her body seemed to have been pumped away. Are you coming to drive me? The heartbroken Charlotte was full of pity, and the long red hair was spread over the waist. Her head is low and low. Natalia is the eldest daughter of the Count of Bonaparte, and is also the heir to the Earl, and is also a powerful high-ranking blood knight. Only the same outstanding arrogant woman is worthy of Ziwei. Ziwei is too dazzling. Like the sun in the sky, the warmth of the sun is very comfortable, but it is not true. Charlotte knows that it is difficult to really marry Ziwei, but as long as he can stay with him and stay with him, he will be satisfied. Just because of the cold and lonely night. With a warm light into the dark and desperate heart, there is a deep love, like a deep forest, occupying a whole heart. This sentiment is hard to bear. After Ziwei's Silver Moon Z perfectly cured the conflicts in the body, Charlotte has evolved from a 90-year-old beauty to a 99-point-old woman. This kind of loneliness and desolateness is really a pity for me. Touched Natalia's heart for a moment. She finally could not maintain the original momentum, sitting on the edge of the bed and taking Charlotte in her arms gently said, "Listen to me." Charlotte looked at her with tears, her eyes full of cravings and expectations. Natalia's heart is once again soft. "I have been trained as a boy since I was a child. I don't know anything about men and women. I heard that you once had a boyfriend." Hearing here, Charlotte suddenly broke free from Natalia's arms, an angry emotion occupied her body, and the power returned to her body. She screamed, "Yes. I have talked about a love once. But it also stops at hugs and kisses. And after the blood of the abyss demon has entered, every inch of my skin has been reborn in the fire of lava and ashes. I am pure and innocent. Talking with Palin is actually only an attempt after the age. Only when I am with Ziwei, I feel what is true love. Well, I apologize to you. Please forgive me for not speaking," Natalia replied with sincere enthusiasm. Immediately 515, "I hope to continue to impact the 515 red envelope list, until May 15th, the red envelope rain can give back to readers plus promotional works. One Piece is also love, definitely better. To be continued." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 200. PS presented today's update, by the way, to the starting point 515 fan festival. To pull the ticket, each person has 8 tickets. Vote also sent the starting currency, begging everyone to support appreciation. Charlotte rubbed her tears with her back, her eyes were reddish, and her tears were beautiful. Natalia quietly leaned on Charlotte's ear, "Tell you a little secret. Never talk to Ziwei." The woman's gossip heart is born, and Charlotte immediately stops crying and listens. "I have been trained as a boy since I was a child, studying martial arts, and studying military affairs. Therefore, I have never had any communication with a noble lady of the same age. Instead, I have a good relationship with most male youths who are also aristocratic heirs. I don't know when I started. I suddenly found that I didn't feel anything about a good man. When I met a beautiful woman, my face turned red, and my heart thumped." Charlotte's beautiful big eyes became the most standard circle. "Do you say that you like women? Hey. Oops. Sivi and Christine are talking outside, don't let them hear. Say this is the secret between you and me." Natalia quickly caught Charlotte's mouth. Charlotte nodded again and again. Her nose and mouth were held tightly by Natalia's hand, so that her breath was short and her face became red. Natalia let her go, and admitted calmly, yes, I found out that I actually like women." "No, then why do you look at Ziwei?" Charlotte questioned. "You don't think Ziwei is very beautiful?" Natalia suddenly retorted. Charlotte was stunned and speechless. "When I was kissing him, I thought of him as a big blonde beauty. To tell the truth, if you can make Ziwei a woman, it is definitely worse than you." Natalia suddenly released a big move. "Hey. I can't help it. Ha 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 ha." Kristen clenched her fist into her left hand and hammered at the table. Her smile was flushed and her tears flowed out. 11 Wei looked awkward and didn't expect his girlfriend to be so dirty. Christine set up a mute enchantment around her early, so the two people inside couldn't hear the movement outside. Charlotte has been stunned. You. In fact, when I first came to see the tower, I was heartbroken," Natalia said more and more excited, and her hands clasped Charlotte again. "You are very beautiful and mature, just like a perfect lover. You are my heart girl. I really like you." Natalia is an action school. Without hesitation, he set off the corner of Ziwei. You are too sudden. I am a bit unacceptable," Charlotte wants to break free from Natalia's arms, but Natalia is a 6th order blood knight, not Charlotte's resistance. Of Charlotte. I am sincere to you. As long as you can accept me, don't say stay with Ziwei, even if it is for him to have children, Natalia began to force and induce. Charlotte is tempted. If Natalia is a man, then Charlotte must be desperate. But Natalia is also a very beautiful woman, and is likely to become the wife of Ziwei in the future. If she can get Natalia's consent, then staying with Ziwei will be unimpeded. According to scientific research, women's recognition and acceptance of lesbians far exceeds the proportion of men's acceptance of men's identity. Natalia hesitated when she saw the beauty, and immediately added enough horsepower. I am actually the most used to wear men's clothing. I am also very handsome in men's clothing. Not much worse than Ziwei. You see. Natalia said that she would do it, and she took out a set of luxurious men's dresses from the space ring. A new attire of Natalia: white cap, white shirt, white suit, white trousers, white shoes. Almost the same color of white gold long hair combed into a beautiful single ponytail, a pair of platinum swords raised to the 2 wings high, the blue eyes are as deep as the sea, the chest pocket of the suit also inserted a red rose blooming. Really a super perfect sister suit. Natalia stood proudly in front of Charlotte, took a snap and threw a wink. How? Beauty. It's really pretty, Charlotte nodded after a serious look. It's a little shorter. A short word poked Natalia's dead hole, and her whole person instantly lost her spirit. Whoever makes my dad and my mother don't force. I was only 5 feet tall when I was born. This is still some time ago. I used a special spell to help me pull up about 1/4 foot, and now I look a little better. P.S. As mentioned earlier, here 1 foot equal 30 centimeters. I am afraid that Ziwei can't accept it. Charlotte has begun to consider feasibility. Oh. It's not me. You must cut off this relationship with you. You will be his subordinates and students in the future. He is grateful that I am too late. Natalia wins. Charlotte's face was slightly red again. This time it was a shy red. How about the 2 women? Natalia was overjoyed, and she jumped to Charlotte in an instant, and kissed Charlotte's beautiful face with both hands and kissed him passionately. Ha ha ha. How is Natalia so interesting? I actually found out. I thought she was a knight who stood up to the righteousness. Christine laughed. Mr. Westway, buy one get one free, you earned it. Listening is not enough. Christine just opened the 4-ring spell mirror surveillance. The scene of the inner room is perfect in the living room. Let the guests laugh. Ziwei had no choice but to spread his hands. I am more interested in the people and things here, Master Ziwei, Christine smiled. After a long time, the kiss between Natalia and Charlotte finally came to an end. Charlotte's brain was deprived of oxygen and the whole person was in a state of paralysis. Perfect. Finally got it? Remember to clean up, we should go out, don't let them see what's coming. This is the secret between you and me. Don't tell anyone. Natalia extended the tongue is swiftly swept over my red lips. It seems to be reminiscent of the wonderful feeling just now. Charlotte quickly picked up the mirror and cleaned it up. A sense of guilt that seemed to have just completed a scam was born. You said, let me stay with Ziwei, Charlotte reminded. Of course, no problem. Beauty, Natalia replied, let you leave, I can't do it. Ziwei can't smile. What is this? Actually dug his own corner by his girlfriend. Is this the legendary Turin? However, it seems that the big trouble has finally been solved, in a strange way. P.S. After writing these 2 chapters, I feel that I have lost a place. I hope everyone will not spray me. How can I be so dirty? Immediately 515, I hope to continue to impact the 515 red envelope list, until May 15th, the red envelope rain can give back to readers plus promotional works. One Piece is also love, definitely better. To be continued. Arcane Age author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 201. Christine temporarily chose one of the 6-story rooms in the tower, and Westway felt the tension in the interior of the tower. The expansion project is already imminent. Image engineering is very important. In the past, Ziwei did not have the ability. However, after being promoted to the 4-ring magician, Ziwei has mastered the 2 spells of fossil for mud and chemical mud for stone, which can be transformed into super construction. But before that, there is one more important thing, that is, the refining of the sea spirit beads, to fill the last flaw in the heart of the lake. Entering the secret room in the middle of the 6th floor of the tower, Ziwei sat down with his knees and his hands put the sea spirit beads on his palm and slowly entered the state of meditation. The magical force slowly extended along the arms, and the blue magical flame began to burn on the surface of Heilingzhu. The surface of Heilingzhu quickly became round and moist, melting in the magical flame. A cool hydrating feeling instantly flowed into the body of Ziwei, as if it were a rushing river, and eventually merged into the heart of Ziwei. Because no pure water is born, the tidal ocean that Ziwei first evolved is the smallest and weakest among the 4-line lake. A steady stream of water flows into the tidal ocean, bringing fresh vitality and life. The tides are getting fuller and the waves are rising. It seems as if the entire tidal ocean is alive. Different from the ignorance of the place to develop the fire, unlike the exploration of the road to the mountains and the King Yun, the completion of the last true spirit is really a matter of course. This huge and pure water aura of the sea spirit beads, which has been treasured by the Naga royal family for thousands of years, has poured into the tides of the sea, accumulating one, and pure water is born. She has a blue transparent body composed of pure water. Her head is round and large, occupying almost half of the whole body. There is a golden inscription ring on the forehead and body. 2 big round eyes flash. It looks so cute. The fresh water of the new real spirits with childlike innocence and joy, play in this clarified ocean of tides. Here is her home. The earth fire, the feng shui and the 4 spirits gathered together. The whole heart lake of Ziwei seemed to live for a moment. Not only the water element, but Ziwei's affinity for the 4 elements has been greatly improved. If the original Ziwei activates the blood of the elves, the elemental affinity can be called a level, then this time has passed a great relationship, and came to the S level. Raise your hands and throw your feet, your own feng shui are born together, the idea moves, and even the world's fire thunder. It can be said that Ziwei has gathered the heart of the elements. It seems to open the door to a new world, in which the mystery is not expressed in words. I don't know how long it took. Ziwei was awake from this mysterious comprehension, and once again looked at the heart of the lake, only to find that the magic limit that he had just upgraded to the 4th ring has been overflowing again. To reach the limit of the 4-ring magician, as long as you can gain a certain degree of real world, you can upgrade to a magician. It is precisely because of the existence of the 5th element of the ether that Ziwei has far more than the other 4-ring masters in the world of elemental magic. If you use this cognition to attack the 5-ring master now, the chances of success will never be too low. However, after the war with Thomas's soul level, Ziwei resolutely took the road of the all-round magician who had to fully develop, thus suppressing the impulse to attack the 5-ring master. Ziwei walked out of the secret room and came to the window. Looking at it, the blue waves were clear and clean, and the sky and the clouds were all together. It was a great river and mountain. Here is my territory, my home in this world. The time has come to build the territory. 0. Let me look at the plan that I made last time and see if there is any need to change it. However, Ziwei's request did not receive a response. Ziwei's heart slammed tightly and searched carefully, only to find that when he felt the elemental affinity, 0 also fell into a deep sleep. This is 0-second sleep. The last time you hibernate, the 0 activated primary intelligence module, then this time? Ziwei's mouth is light and with a beautiful expectation. Ziwei left the tower alone and came to the other side of the island. Here is a beautiful place, with trees, mountains and rivers flowing, and unknown small yellow flowers on the cliffs, so that people can forget their troubles and feel happy. 11 Wei's hands pressed to the ground and began to communicate with the earth. The earthly true yellow cattle in the desert of the mountains seem to have sensed what Zai Wei is doing. It gently shakes the tail and walks step by step in the desert of the mountains. 11 Wei's thoughts were completely empty, and at this moment he merged with the earth. Fossil is mud, with the spewing of magic. A large piece of rock around the body of Zai Wei instantly became a plasticine toy, soft and plastic. Building your own beautiful home, this is a dream that everyone will have, and the Zai Wei, a 4-ring magician, will undoubtedly turn this process into a relaxed and fun game. With the elemental heart of Zai Wei, no matter how strong the hard stone is in his hands, it becomes like a soft mud, and it is built according to the architectural blueprint of Zai Wei. The standard 4-ring spell Fossil is Mud can convert about 40 cubic meters of rock into soft stone at a time, and if you want to completely build the stone castle in the heart of Zai Wei, you need about 200,000 cubic meter. Zai Wei not only opened up the mountains and deserts in the heart of the lake, but also condensed the heart of the elements. His ability is far beyond the normal 4-ring master, and he can transform about 200 cubic meters of rock at a time. But even so, Zai Wei needs to cast a full 1,000 fossils for mud spells. But don't forget the process of turning mud into stone. Zai Wei tried to reshape the rock that had just been transformed into rock, but the rock wall that looks like it is still soft, not the solid granite in the mind of Zai Wei. This is really a new challenge. If you don't rely on magical magic, but rely solely on manpower to complete the construction of the entire territory in the heart of Zai Wei, then the money spent will be an astronomical number. What's more, Kaplana is located on the Golden Sea. It takes a full 3-day voyage from the nearest Corsican island. It is difficult to recruit so many craftsmen even if you have money. But now the entire territory has only one rundown pier and a small town that relies on the mine hole. Finally, it is a mage tower. It looks so desolate. Zai Wei let himself calm down slowly. Can't be anxious, there is a way. There are 2 main problems. One is that there are too many castings, and the other one is that the stone that comes out of the mud is not strong enough. Zai Wei thought about the solution while returning to the tower on the same road. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 202. Mr. Westway? Have you encountered any problems? You are about to hit the wall soon, a sweet voice filled with charm rang in front of Zai Wei. Zai Wei suddenly raised his head and found that he had already returned to the vicinity of the tower. Zero entered the dormant state, and his attention was now concentrated on the problem, so that he almost made a joke. Seeing the silver-haired beauty Christine in front of him, Zai Wei suddenly saw his eyes bright, and he told the problem that bothered him. Pure the magic to build a castle. As a mid-level magician, Zai Wei, your heart is really big enough. I have nothing to solve the first problem, but you can build it slowly. First complete the main structure. The second question, as far as I know, there is a Fudeo stone strengthening, which is the construction spell used to build the master tower, but it can meet the requirements of Zai Wei. Justin held the chin with one hand and thought about it. A Ford doll stone intensification, is this a few loops of spells? Don't know if Miss Christine owns this spell. 5-ring magic. I have a master tower building, which happens to have this spell, but I haven't had time to learn it. Because I haven't really made up my mind to build my own master tower. After all, once I have the master tower, it is equal. Limit yourself to a fixed place, Christine whispered softly. But, Master Zai Wei, the equivalent exchange is one of the principles of the magician. What can you give me? Kristen looked forward to watching Zai Wei. In the magic of the tower, she had already talked to several of Zai Wei's apprentices and the wife of Mrs. Winschell. More understanding. In her opinion, the person of Zai Wei is really mysterious, jumping from a magic apprentice to a high-ranking magician in 3 months. Even the legendary masters who have been in contact with the Towers of the Thousand Laws have not reached the level of the day. What kind of spell does Miss Kristen major in? Ziwei does not exclude communication, which is what he expects. I have learned a lot of things, elements, structure, and protection. I know a little. Construction is the magic of manipulating all kinds of magic images. I have never seen it. Ziwei is very interested in the mysterious construction. Use magic to control the machine. Develop powerful, even magical, and towering spirits that start to have simple intelligence. Perhaps mastering the architecture, Zero can better adapt to the world. In a sense, Zero is the highest wisdom of human beings in the last world without magic. My mentor's mentor is relying on the promotion of the legendary field to truly advance the construction school to the illustrious position of the construction queen Dela, Kristen said proudly. Every true legendary powerhouse. It will have a unique title. Many times his name is not known to the general public, but his title will be sung for the entire Baron of the Orient continent. And this construction queen Didura is obviously a legendary magician in the Tower of the Thousand Law. How is the name so familiar? Ziwei suddenly recalled that the only female name on Descartes' elemental magic book happened to be Dela. Is it the same person? So you should also have your own construction machinery. Ziwei temporarily put down this doubt. Asked curiously. Christine didn't speak. She snapped her finger. A black ring on the ring finger of her right hand suddenly shone. The next moment the earth trembled, a huge figure appeared in front of Ziwei. This is a huge steel golem, more than 5 meters high, with a huge steel warhammer in his hand. The smooth and flat mechanical body reflects the dazzling light under the sunbeam, which looks like a mighty wind. High-order steel golem, in addition to strong blows. Most physical damage can be immune, for most of the 1 to 5 ring spells are also very strong resistance, in addition to fear of strong acid attack, almost no weakness. Kristen laughed very much brilliant, it will also charge and sweep the attack. The average high-ranking warrior can't beat it. If you are not afraid that the sea water under the sea will erode my guard, it will definitely show its power. Ziwei was close to the past and watched carefully. In fact, for the study of machinery, humans in the 35th century AD were far ahead. This high-end steel golem has a mysterious magical texture and energy core to drive on the surface and core of the body. It can be said to be a magical creature of the variety. This is the magical structure. Really interesting. Miss Christine still remembers the spell that weakened the magical defense of Kulil in the underground cave battle. Ziwei decided to take some sweetness to seduce Christine. Oh! Of course I am very impressed. Christine immediately remembered the spell that Sylvia had exerted on that day, which greatly weakened the resistance of the elements of Kulil. It's called Elemental Curse, and it's also a 5-ring spell that can simultaneously weaken each other's 4-element resistance. It also comes with the ability to detect each other's resistance. Ziwei can be a 4-ring magician. This spell is cast because he has 4 elements, the Heart Lake and the Ethereum, and this spell is the original spell of Ziwei. Elemental Curse? This spell is a powerful spell for combat. It's much more valuable than a Ford Stone Strengthening. Are you sure you want to exchange with me? Christine frowned. Yes, Ziwei replied affirmatively. Okay, the two then completed the exchange. Ziwei stepped into the 6th floor of the tower, began to analyze the spell along the way. Obviously, this is a skillful spell. Most of the structural lines on the entire spell model are used to adjust the shape of the wall after the stone transformation. The simple stone transformation spell is only the level of the 4-ring spell. Although 11-Way has not really promoted the 5-ring magician, but if this spell is split, then showing it is not a problem. But if you want to split the spell model of a spell, if you don't have enough powerful mastery and understanding of the spell model, it is a daydream. After many magicians got a spell model, they couldn't wait to be respectful. They didn't dare to adjust their changes. They were afraid that the spell model would cause their own spells to fail. 11 Wei first analyzed the stone transformation spell. For Zai Wei, who has mastered the elemental heart, this is only a threshold, and he learned it in the past. The rest of the spell model is also very important. As long as the right combination, you can debug the wall material you want in the heart of Zai Wei. It can be said that the same use of a Ford Dolly stone strengthening, but can create more than 10 different styles of reinforced stone. This magician named Afford is definitely a genius in the field of magic application. To be continued. Tip: you can search for 00SY or 00SY in Baidu. The address of this station is, in order to facilitate reading the book next time, you can click on Add Bookmark to record this reading record. You can read this chapter directly next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Remember that the more updates you share, the faster you will. Mobile phone users, please visit. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 203. More than 2,000 years ago, Merlin, the first magician of mankind, learned magic from the elves, but for the rest of his life, he only reached the level of the three-ring magician. When Alexander the Great almost unified Europe and the career of the Blood Knight began to rise, a magician named Plato proposed an insight into the real theory of the world, and finally he was promoted to break through the Fifth Order and became the first high-ranking magician among human beings. 1,400 years ago, another magician named Cerus took a different approach and developed the use of negative energy to create a school of necromancers, which was later promoted to become the first master of magic. In 694 years of the Holy Calendar, the first legendary magician, Tolefut, appeared. He built the 1,000 French tower in the snow of Mount Abies, and it has become almost all magic in the millennium. The holy place in the heart of the teacher. In the ensuing time, the rise of almost every legendary magician was accompanied by the rise of a new magic school, and the construction Queen Dixila is by far the youngest legendary mage, the discipline of magical architecture. It also began to prosper with the archive Queen Dixila Advanced Legend. In exchange of magic with Christine, in order to match the principle of equivalence exchange, Christine gave a few books to Zai Wei, and this magic history, development and transformation that Zai Wei is reading is his most sensation. A book of interest. This world is not like the magical games and books that Zai Wei has ever touched. There will always be an arcane empire that will eventually fall because of the attempt to challenge the gods. Although the entire Orient Dalu is the plane of wisdom and the strongest in the plane of the multidimensional plane that has been explored, there are only two true gods. Silver Moon mysterious anomaly, in addition to sheltering the elves, completely hidden in the world. The Church of the Glorious Lord is very contradictory in the eyes of Zai Wei. As the only true belief sect among human beings, the Church of the Glorious Lord should have prevailed throughout the Orient Dalu. Even more legendary magicians and legendary blood knights may not be able to compete with the power of the Glorious Lord. But there are many praising poems that can be found in the Glorious Lord's Church. Many of the hymns describe the glory of the saints before and after the sacred calendar. At that time, the Lord of the Glory can be said to be a sacred existence, even though the Orc Empire has the mysterious and powerful ancestor totem worships asylum, but it is still not the opponent of the Glorious Lord Church led by the Sun, defeated. The whole family retreated into the prairie, almost completely disappeared from the Orient Dalu. However, the Sun quickly returned to the Kingdom of Heaven, and the Church of the Glorious Lord soon began to be led by the Pope of the Holy City of Vatican. However, the Church of the Glorious Lord did not gain an overwhelming advantage in the hidden confrontation with the king and the nobility, and the rise of the Holy Norman Empire was a major blow to the entire Glorious Lord Church. After the sacred Norman Emperor announced the abolition of the Church's tithe in the territory, Then Pope Benton VII organized the entire Delu, all the glory of the country's crusade against the Holy Norman Empire, France, Itan, Rui-Shat. Almost the entire Delu strong country cannot stand the birth of the second emperor after Alexander the Great, joined the Crusade alliance. But the emperor of the Holy Norman Empire, the ruler of Habsburg, Albrecht I, was a destiny warrior who reached the peak of the legend. And famed. Also got the support of the Thousand-Law Tower on the snowy mountain. This long-lasting, almost all of the powerful powers of the entire Orient Delu involved in the 30 Years' War, with the Holy Norman Empire to repel the French kingdom, defeat the kingdom of Res, the most devout faith in the Church of the Glorious Lord. The kingdom of Italy ended in disintegration. During the entire crusade, the Church of the Glorious Lord did not use any power above the legend. Benton VII held a sacred prayer ceremony for the sacred people in the Holy City of Vatican, praying for the sun or the angel to come to crusade against the enemy, but the ceremony continued. It took a full 7 days. Did not get any response. Benton VII died suddenly and for the entire 16 years. The views of the cardinal and the cardinal could not be unified, so that the next pope could not be elected for 4 consecutive elections. After this war, although the priest of the glorious Lord is still able to obtain the magic of the Lord of Light, the sacred coat that enveloped the Church of the glorious Lord has become dim. It is also from now on, in order to make up for the huge vacancy of the tithe, in order to stop the internal turmoil within the Church. The successor, Pope Benton VIII, developed the credit vouchers, a sacred weapon, and the sacred coat of the Church was completely stripped off with the proliferation of redemption vouchers. According to the background of literary works and games that Ziwei has touched, the number of believers and the piety of faith are related to the power of God itself. No will ignore this. When the Church beliefs are hit, don't say the sun or the angel. I am afraid that the avatar will come. But in fact, the embodiment of the Lord of Glory has never appeared in the Orient Dal, and in the sacred times of that year, there was only one sun. There must be secret reasons behind this, but these are too far away for Ziwei. Living in such an era is obviously much easier than the world of Firan's true gods, and there are too many obstacles to the era of the arcane era that Ziwei wants to open up. Start by thinking about how to build the territory of Ziji. Suddenly, Ziwei Lingguang flashed, and he immediately entered the 6-story secret room and transferred it to the underground laboratory. 12 magical objects in the entire secret room. Ziwei only got the elemental magic book and lightning bracers, and there are 10 magical objects that have not solved the puzzle. One of them, full of rich earth elements, may help solve problems. In appearance, this is a small stone disc, and the magical light in the remaining 10 magical creatures is second only to the pair of pale gold, which is likely to be able to shuttle the shoes. Ziwei's hand stretched out, the problem reappeared in his mind. What is the existence of earth element life? Can you build a life with the earth elements in the lake? Ziwei will smile, and the earthly true ox is his understanding of the life of earth elements. The earthly true yak in the mountains and deserts sent out the information that belongs to the Ziji, and it was transmitted into this magical object. You are more successful than I thought. Congratulations, it is yours. The next moment, a stony inscription shines on the stone disc, and the information and usage of this treasure is also transmitted to Ziwei. The stone disc is engraved with the 5-ring spell of elemental life call, and this disc can summon 4 intensified earth elements once a day. This kind of reinforcement is not an enhancement of combat power, but an enhancement of the life intelligence of elements. Not so easy to use construction workers, but the completion of the master tower is really relying on them. I am really a genius. The last sentence is Descartes' message. To be continued. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 204. This is really an unexpected surprise. It's really a sleepy encounter with a pillow. Ziwei held a stone disc and walked out of the secret room with a footstep. He was about to go back and experiment again, but it was blocked by a group of people. Mr. Westway? I am so happy when I have a happy event, Kristen asked with a smile. Natalia and Charlotte are also curious. Behind them are the werewolf maid Cynthia and the embarrassment that has not been seen for a long time. Ziwei simply said his intentions, immediately aroused the interest of all, building their own castle and home. If you think about it, you can't be excited. Then a group of people appeared in the castle seat selected by Ziwei. The scenery here is really good, it is almost the most beautiful place on the whole island. There are clear mountain springs, fine streams, green trees, and shady mountains, and a white beach in the distance. Yahweh should be on the island. It's been a long time to choose such a good place. Charlotte praised the face with a surprised look. Ziwei's hands were pressed on the stone disc, and the magic was entered into it, meditation on the activated spell. Almost for a moment, 4 giant earth element giants jumped out of it. They are about 6 or 7 meters high, and the whole body is made up of huge rocks. Each step will bring a slight tremor of the earth. Ziwei felt that the 4 earth elements giants had a certain connection with their own spirit through the stone discs, and they all obeyed their own instructions. Soften stone, Ziwei issued the first order. The 4 earth element giants lined up in a row, almost simultaneously turning on the talented fossil mud spell, transforming a large piece of rock around into a soft stone mud. This is too efficient. And this fossil is mud is almost the instinct of the earth element giant. The magic of consumption is nothing. Before the magic is completely worn out, the earth element giant will always exist and will not disappear. Ziwei's instructions were constantly released, and the earth element giant almost completed the work in accordance with the command of Ziwei. Let the foundation be dug to dig the foundation, and let the wall go to which wall. Work hard, efficiency is fast. In less than half of the magic time, Ziwei has built 2 stone walls and solidified the foundation of the entire castle. Although the hard stone wall completed by the earth element giant is not so clean and beautiful, as long as Ziwei uses a 4 daoist stone strengthening, then it can perfectly achieve its own design. Ziwei, can you let me try? Natalia stayed aside and couldn't stand it anymore. She got to Ziwei and looked good. Okay, Ziwei had completely controlled the stone disc. He temporarily handed over the right to Natalia. Natalia could establish a spiritual link with the earth element by holding the disc. With the response from Ziwei, Natalia couldn't wait to grab the stone disc and started a game-like experience. At first, she was somewhat uncomfortable. For a long time, the earth element giants stopped moving, and the section of the wall that was originally built was like a child's graffiti. But soon Natalia mastered the trick, and the 4 earth element giants quickly completed the entire castle manor wall under her command. This game is really fun. But then it involves the interior of the manor and the structure of the castle. There is a complete architectural blueprint in the mind of Ziwei, but Natalia does not. So Ziwei retrieved the stone disc from Natalia, and Natalia gave up this fun toy to Ziwei. There are simple projects in the future. The architectural drawings of the castle in Ziwei's mind are carefully selected from the many beautiful European-style castles in the database. They are finally combined according to local conditions. Ziwei's first sight is followed by this near perfection. The building was conquered and the decision was made directly. Moreover, this architectural blueprint is a 3-dimensional image, and even the demonstration of the construction sequence is available. Ziwei can perfectly construct this fantasy castle according to the architectural blueprint. Underground storage, castle floor, castle second floor, castle 3 floors, castle dome. The sky gradually darkened, but not only did not evacuate, but instead gathered more people around. Because Ziwei has liberalized the control of the apprentices, except for a few places, the entire island is a place where apprentices can freely arrive. This area has long been a destination holy place among many apprentices because of its beautiful scenery. Whether it is a straight towering wall or a huge castle, it was exposed for the first time. In the afternoon, the tower had no courses. Almost all the people who got the news rushed to the vicinity to witness this dreamy moment. A magical and magnificent castle that can't be seen even in a dream, in front of everyone, was built by several giant earth elements. When the red sunset came to the surface of the sea and the silver moon appeared again on the horizon, Ziwei finally completed the construction of the castle's soil structure. The whole project was actually less than half completed, whether it was feudal stone strengthening grinds the exterior wall, is also a functional facility and decoration inside the castle, as well as a series of problems such as furniture and daily necessities. But the general shape of the entire castle has come out. The architecture of the whole castle is mainly based on the German Neuschwanstein Castle, which ranks first among the top 10 most beautiful castles in the world. This castle belonging to a Bavarian king is situated between the white light clouds and the Great Lake, full of romance and fairy tales. The color. Whether in area or height, the castles of Ziwei are in a reduced version, but the essence is the essence, not only retains the outstanding features of the original Neuschwanstein, but also joins other equally excellent castle designs, even with Chris Ting has a wealth of life experience. The castle in front of it is the most exquisite and dreamy castle in the history of the entire continent. Although the external stone transformation has not yet been completed, although the exterior wall of the building has not yet been painted, although the annex building has not yet been completed, it is just a prototype of the main body of the building, so that everyone can feel happy and can't wait to be settled in it immediately. Enough, everyone goes to rest. The castle will be built for a while. When the real completion, everyone will visit, the magic of the earth element giants is exhausted and returned to the stone disk. Only after the words were spoken, the apprentices reluctantly returned to the tower. Compared with the newly built castle, the tower is like an ugly pillar. Really realize the architectural blueprint in my mind perfectly. In reality, Ziwei still has a great sense of accomplishment.